Alright guys, as you see in the title, my problem with Marvel villains in this MCU. This video is gonna get hate. I'm gonna get probably a couple of dislikes, and if so, guys, okay, I'm cool with that. But hear what I have to say. Now I'm gonna compare two villains, Joker. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna compare just one. I'm gonna compare the Joker. Now, the reason I'm doing the Joker is that is a definition of what a good villain is. And I'll explain in a minute. Let's talk about the villains in the MCU. The only villains I can say that have really, that I can say that it's not at the level of Joker, but close to his stature, is Loki. And the reason being is, and I don't even think the reason being is Josh Whedon, what he did with Loki in the Avengers. If we never used Loki in Avengers, Loki would be that regular generic villain. My problem with Marvel villains today is that they're the same. World conquest, domination, they want to do this, but they come off as not menacing or threatening, not like a Joker per se. And the Joker, I mean, is the definition of a good villain. It's the way he's written, the way he's portrayed, the way he actually is a menace to the hero, to the protagonist per se. By the end of the Dark Knight, Batman may defeat the Joker, but in reality, the Joker defeated the Batman. And the reason being is, look at all the shit Joker did in the Dark Knight. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, they should have, I understand why Nolan wanted to stop there, because to be honest with you, you had to do another story with Joker, and I would have loved to see that. But we all know what happened to to the actor who died, Heath Ledger. Rest his soul. Joker in the film in the Dark Knight destroyed the city. Joker in the film The Dark Knight turned a honest, proud citizen as in Harvey Dent into a villain. He turned a guy that was protecting the city into a villain. If you have a villain turning a hero or some type of honest guy into a villain, that's brownie points right there for me. And number one, he took Batman's love of his life, even though Joker didn't know that was his love of his life, but he took that away from him. And in reality, he defeated Batman to the point where Batman had to go through all these, Batman had to go through all the steps where for the last, 7 to 8, 10 years, he went under hiding. He became, public enemy number one in Gotham, where everybody wanted to get him. He went hiding, till he was needed again with Bane and stuff like that, etc., etc. So to me, that's a strong villain. That's a really good villain, because if he can do all that, by the end of the film, you're not rooting. You root for the villain, but you also feel bad for Bruce Wayne, the character. Where the only villain that I think Marvel is Joker. I mean, in Marvel that was close up to the Joker is Loki, and I'm not talking about those levels. It's because how much screen time he's got. This relatability there, being the stepbrother, and looked down upon by your stepfather. I've seen that before, or father figure, whatever, or pretty much how in the Avengers he came off more as a villain trying to take over the world, but still a little generic here and there. We all knew that he was going to get defeated because, this is the world of Marvel. All the heroes have to win, which is kind of stupid if you ask me, my opinion. Then we go to other villains in the MCU, which are probably forgettable. Ronan. Ronan is a villain in Guardians of the Galaxy. The comic Ronan version is a badass. The version of Guardians of the Galaxy just sucked. He was a comedic villain. I never took him seriously, especially once Thanos came in. Once we saw Thanos, I was like, okay, this guy either gonna get destroyed or he's gonna be beaten easily that I won't even give a damn about him. So a lot of people didn't really think of him as a strong villain. Then we go to Thor: The Dark World. Do we even remember the other villain in the movie? Yeah, Loki was one. What was the other villain? Malekith. Poor. He was written poorly. He was portrayed. The actor who portrayed him was good, but he was just a villain that we didn't really care for. I didn't feel that Thor was going to lose to this villain. That was one. The Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, doesn't really have a villain in here. More has an anti-hero per se. He's more of a hero slash villain. that the way it was portrayed in that film was pretty good, but still he's not a villain, so you can't really call that. And the other guys being Hydra, I don't even consider them villains. I just consider them not even antagonists, just supporting roles for the Winter Soldier. Then we get to the Avengers. The Avengers Avengers Age of Ultron, where I thought they were going to do the right thing and make Ultron like his comic counterpart. Take no names, take no prisoner, tear shit up, fuck people up. Well, he did that in the first beginning. The second half, he did not. He became a standard generic villain. Hear me out. I'm a fan of what James Spader did with Ultron, but the writing, the material, and the stuff they were doing with him, I did not like. Ultron is a villain that, out of all the Marvel villains, is the only one that has attempted, in many forms, in many comic books, he has killed the Avengers. One by one, except Hulk, he could never kill him. Thor, he could kill him either. And I thought they were going to go tease that a little bit, but I didn't feel that kind of threat in the film. And it kind of felt kind of stupid as well. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, though, I never thought them as villains. I never cared for them as villains. And I never wanted them in the movie in the first place. Reason being, they just didn't have a place. Not yet, at least. Maybe in another film, but just them in a film, I did not think they were needed in here. I think it should have been focused more on Ultron, not Quicksilver, and not Scarlet Witch. They should have never been in the film. Never been in the film. That's just my opinion, guys. Opinion. That's my opinion, based because the Quicksilver in Days of Future Past was better than the Quicksilver here. And the funny thing, the Quicksilver in Days of Future Past has less screen time than this one. So, say what you want about how he looked. Bryan Singer, say what you want about him. He can get shit done. He knows how to write good characters, or he knows how to get, he knows what works for certain characters. Because honestly, guys, Quicksilver is a mutant. He's an X-Men mutant. Now, all this bullshit of Marvel trying to revert him back from not being mutants, that's bullshit. Marvel is wrong for that shit. But I digress. I already did a video rant on that later on. You guys go check that out. It's in my video. But guys, this is my problem with the Marvel villains of the MCU. They don't come off as a threat, as a menacing threat, and that gets to the point where we get tired of it. People are like, oh, Thanos is gonna be good. I said no. Just because Thanos could be good, what about Ultron? They fucked up with Ultron. They fucked up with Loki. It's a mixed bag with me. There's some parts I like they did, and some parts I didn't. But he's not as bad as anybody else. You gotta hit it when it's hot. Ultron is a villain that honestly has defeated the Avengers multiple times, and in the film I thought he was treated like shit. To be honest with you, Age of Ultron needed a part 1 and a part 2. That was it. And Thanos should have came a little bit later. Matter of fact, they should have did Thanos after this and then do Ultron later on, because Ultron to me is a bigger villain than Thanos. It makes more sense to once all the devastation happened, Ultron gets put in the picture with Hank Pym being involved, and that's how I would do it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. As always, guys, like, subscribe. I know I'm gonna get some hate on this video. That's fine. Tell me, guys, do you think I'm wrong? Do I think that Marvel MCU, Marvel villains of the MCU are not threatening or stuff like that, or do you believe that they are good enough of the way they are? Which I think they could be better. They could be a hell of a lot better than what they are. Ultron could have been better the way he was in the film. Malekith could have been used a little bit better, but then again, I didn't know fucks about Malekith. Even I read a few Thor stories. I never heard of him until the movie, so they could have did a hell of a lot better to introduce him. But then again, he was a throwaway character just for Loki. Or then we could have did with what do you guys think? Do you think the villains are good the way they are? Do you think they should go the Joker route and make them more like villains? Villains like they tear a hero down, and then you see the hero get brought back up, and even in defeat, he's still lost. You want those type of villains? Those are the type of villains I like, because at the end of the day, if a villain can tear you down and you still get right back up and you beat him, and still he tears you down because he took everything away from you. Because I like to see that type of story you can build back up in the next film. Granted, The Dark Knight Rises was not the best build-up story I've seen, but you know, for what it was, I appreciated it. Those are my things. Those are my little comments. Guys, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right? Or do you think, you know, hey, whatever. You're happy the way you get in them. Just, I like things to, you know, I like villains that are strong enough that they can hold their own in the film. You know what I mean? Look at Thor: The Dark World, for example. Malekith was not strong enough. They had to add Loki in the film. Just saying. As always, guys, like, subscribe, hit that like button, share. Hey, you did not like this video, fine. You're a Marvel fan, that's fine by you. 2 words for you. Fuck off. That's all I gotta say. As always, guys, peace. Have a good day.